there's nothing else going on in the world today, let's talk about UFOs. Get in here, this is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. First off, I just started the second season of Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix, and it's amazing. I highly recommend it. I'm only on episode 2, but already I'm learning about ancient cultures in the Amazon that were leaving these really intriguing earthworks that people are finding in cleared sections of the Amazon, and it's such a shame that they're clearing these sections of the Amazon, but they are, and at least one good thing came out of it is that we are discovering remnants of this large ancient culture that were doing some interesting things back in the day. Also really interesting is a section that talks about the technology level in terms of pottery of some of the peoples of the Americas and how that compares to the ancient Greeks arriving at the same technology, this pottery technology, at exactly the same time, doing very similar things in terms of civilization technology and at the same time. So where did they learn that? How did they arrive at the same advancement at the same time, in parts of the world that are far apart from each other? Yeah, super fascinating stuff, guys. I love it. Highly recommend you check it out. And again, I'm just on episode 2. Meanwhile, breaking, Lue Elizondo cancels his November 7th and 8th show dates in Georgia and Florida. Yeah, Lou says, "Hi everyone, due to a recent scheduling conflict, we will be moving the Jacksonville and Evans talk dates to early 2025, where we will also be adding more dates around the country to continue the disclosure discussion with the U.S. public. Ticket holders from Jacksonville and Evans dates will be reached out to with new dates or the option for a full refund." Now, is this a reaction against the reaction for his bogus UFO photos that he, I believe, accidentally put up? He was given these photos and he put them up. And of course, they were bogus, and he apologized for it. But that didn't stop a round of fresh anti-Lue hate from rearing its ugly head. And many people think this is further signs that he is a disinformation agent. Well, if so, he's a really bad disinformation agent because these photos were instantly caught as bogus photos. So in my mind, anybody can make a mistake, and I think that's what happened here. But hey, let me know what you think, and if you bought tickets for these shows, let me know if you're going to get a refund or if you are going to reschedule for the new date in 2025. Meanwhile, Jay Anderson is saying, "I was told by a retired CIA officer during a quiet lunch that the agency," I guess that's the CIA, "has made contact with the afterlife." That's right, the CIA has made contact with the afterlife, according to Jay Anderson's sources. Now, who knows? I wasn't there. But of course, the CIA has been heavily involved with the UFO stuff for a long time, possibly back since its creation or even before its creation, back when it was the OSS. So, it should be no surprise that they may have interacted with the phenomenon, or as I call it, the greater phenomenon, because it seems to me, from my own experiences and research, that the various elements that we are seeing in the world, from paranormal to UFOs to Bigfoot, all of it seems to be connected. And I call that the greater phenomenon. And certain parts of that do seem to be other dimensional, beyond, our 3 or 4 dimensions. And even vehicles, some of these UFOs seem to be coming from beyond our 3 or 4 dimensions. They are coming from other dimensions, higher dimensions, possibly even spiritual realms. And if the UFO control group is indeed interacting with some of these beings, which they seem to be doing, could those be said to be spiritual or metaphysical interactions? So it's no surprise to me that the agency might have been in touch, or might still be in touch, with beings on the other side of the veil. Obviously, I would love more information about this and more corroboration on this. And if you see it before I do, let me know. Certainly a juicy story. Meanwhile, Netflix sued for egregious, reckless improprieties in the making of their miniseries, Manhattan Alien Abduction. And, I've studied that alien abduction. It was an interesting case. I've gone back and forth on whether I think it's legit or not. But the estate of Bud Hopkins and principals involved in his revealing book Witnessed seek redress for the hit job, defaming them about the true story of a UFO incident in Manhattan. Netflix recently released the Manhattan Alien Abduction, may be garnering many viewers, or their recently released Alien Abduction movie, may be garnering many viewers, but the principals involved in the production of this claimed documentary have filed suit in the New York State Supreme Court this week for their duped participation as a result of the lies and bad faith of the behemoth online streaming channel and its producers. Promoted to be based on a true story, little was further from the truth as rights holders and contracting parties were blatantly lied and deceived to become involved in the spurious story orchestrated by Netflix and its associates. Using the deeply embittered, revenge-seeking ex-wife as the protagonist, the producers suggested it was all a hoax and cast doubt and aspersions on the principals, both of whom willingly participated in what they were told was to be a true account of the painstakingly researched and investigated book witnessed by Bud Hopkins. Love Bud. He and David Jacobs did great work, and David is still doing great work investigating alien abductions and hypnotically regressing people who have been abducted. He and Bud, regressed thousands of people. It's really interesting to compare their information with that of people like Barbara Lamb and Dolores Cannon and Mary Rodwell, who get very different information, which leads to my silos of information theory, or at least observation, that there are indeed these different silos of information that from credible researchers gathering credible information. But they're wildly different from each other. The Barbara Lamb, Dolores Cannon camp that has, regressed thousands of people that have been abducted and getting their information have a much more optimistic spiritual view of the abduction phenomenon than the Bud Hopkins, David Jacobs camp, which is dark and gloomy and scary and terrifying. Which is the real deal. I asked Mary Rodwell that during an interview, and I highly recommend checking that out. Somebody was asking me about that in the comments the other day. I highly recommend checking out her take on alien abductions and why it may not be all doom and gloom. But, it's easy for me to say. I have not been abducted that I know of. You never know. They're studying abduction accounts, as I have, and Benny agrees, leads me to believe that it's way more complicated than we can understand with our present level of information. People are have horrible, terrifying experiences, sometimes brutal experiences, but other people have transcendent experiences where they are taught about their chakras and auras, and they learn mystical abilities. And sometimes the two go together. And I've even heard that there may actually be a trade-off, that some of the beings will teach you stuff and elevate you spiritually, possibly, as a trade-off in payment for, subjecting you to those experiments. But again, what is the real story on abductions? Is hard to say. If any of you are experiencers, let us know what you think about it all in the comments below. Meanwhile, check this out. Brandon Fugel may have just videoed a sea monster or a lake monster. Anyway, check it out. Strange sighting from my helicopter while traveling back from Skinwalker Ranch. There is a very remote, hidden lake in the high Uintas with reports of a prehistoric lake creature that survived. When I was first told of this place years ago, it was with a story that the Native Americans refer to the location as Dinosaur Lake. On our first pass flying over the lake, it was absolutely still. But on our second pass, we were totally caught off guard by huge sudden movement in the lake and a fast moving trail in its wake. Upon turning the helicopter around, we saw another movement and trailing wake on the other side of the lake. It appears there were potentially two of them. My brother and pilot Cameron Fugel and I remained intrigued. Here's the video. All right, let's check out this sea monster, guys, or this lake monster. All right, there we go. There is Dinosaur Lake. That's a cool name of a lake, anyway. I mean, I don't care if it's got dinosaurs or not. That is a cool name of a lake. And you can see the tall trees there, so you can kind of get a sense of the size of this thing. Whatever this is, leaving this long wake. You know, is that just a big fish? Is that a sturgeon? Brandon Fugel answers that question in the comments. He says he doesn't believe there are sturgeons in that lake. But, who knows? Maybe there are sturgeons in that lake and he is just wrong, or that is some other big fish. Probably. I'll believe it when I see it with sea monsters or lake monsters, but you never know. And here are some stills of this alleged lake monster. And, it's not that exciting, but, who knows, guys? Let me know if you think there are lake monsters around Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, there's wolfmen, there's dogmen, there's all sorts of crazy nuttiness. Why not lake monsters, right? I mean, at this point, why not lake monsters? There's Bigfoot, there's dogmen, lake monsters, okay. All right. Meanwhile, does China have reverse engineered UFO technology? This is what Ruby is reporting on from this post right here on archive.forwardplebs.org, where there is this very interesting email here. And Ruby gives us the highlights, a leaked correspondence discussing confirmation from multiple Chinese sources that China has not only achieved testing and implementation of NHI exotic materials and unmanned aerospace vehicles, but have also conducted operations in North American airspace. Is this Balloon Gate? Is that what it was all about? Was reverse engineered UFO technology operated by China? I mean, if so, then why did they deploy balloons, right? Why are they using balloons, which we know they used at least once, if they've got UFOs? So I'm a little skeptical of this information, at least in terms of it coming to America. Also, if they've got this UFO technology, why isn't Taiwan part of China now, right? Mainland China. Sichuan Zero Gravity Technology Company Limited receives funding from the China Weapons Industry Group and since at least 2014 has been the primary umbrella under which the PLA conducts research into NHI propulsion systems. That's from the memo that also mentions a source being interviewed by Zodiac on April 14th, 2023, and gives the name of a company that partakes in America's efforts regarding UFOs, Zodiac Exotic Technology Evaluation Group. Along with correspondence, the leaker stated that the spooks in these special access programs are starting to S their pants. Full statement by the leaker. China has reverse engineered UAPs, and the spooks in the special access programs are starting to S their pants. Chatter going on behind the scenes right now is like nothing I've heard. Suspect more info will start leaking out soon. I'd suggest digging into some of these companies. Now, I'm very skeptical of this sort of information. It could be propaganda, honestly. It could be disinformation. And again, if China does have, this sort of technology, why haven't they conquered Taiwan with it? If, Russia, for example, has this technology, why haven't they deployed it as well? So I don't think our adversaries have any functional technology they can use offensively, although I don't doubt at all that they have their own programs and that they're working on this. And there is some sort of behind-the-scenes arms race going on with UFO technology. What's really weird is that at some point, some of these countries seem to have been working together. The Lance Corporal Jonathan Wigand case in Peru from back in the day when he was taken to the hub of operations of the UFO control group in that area at that time where they were shooting down UFOs. And, he came across that one UFO. Well, he was saying this multinational group, and China was part of it. Really interesting. Trying to make sense out of all of this is just so frustrating, but it's super fascinating. Meanwhile, what is Kim Kardashian trying to show us or tell us? Is she trying to tell us something with this interesting makeup? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is she advertising the reality? Or maybe she's not wearing makeup at all, guys. Maybe this is her true self. I don't know. Let me know what you think about this interesting get-up from Kim Kardashian. Meanwhile, archaeologists uncover underground tunnels beneath Mexican City associated with the god of death. That's right, archaeologists confirmed the existence of a network of underground chambers and tunnels beneath the ancient city of Mitla in Mexico, a site known for its association with the Zapotec. Archaeologists confirmed the existence of a network of underground chambers and tunnels. And there you go. Archaeologists have confirmed the existence of a network of underground chambers and tunnels beneath the ancient city of Mitla in Mexico. This discovery was made using advanced geophysical methods, including ground penetrating radar, electrical resistivity tomography, I said that right, and seismic noise tomography, which revealed a series of chambers and tunnels that likely represent yet unknown Zapotec tombs. The research group, led by the National Institute of Anthropology and History of Mexico, probed 5 different sets of ruins in Mitla: the Church Group, the Arroyo Group, the Adobe Group, the South Group, and the Group of the Columns. Marco Vigato, founder of the ARCS project, revealed the extent of this underground tunnel and chamber system, stating, "Some of the tunnels and chambers extend to a considerable depth, in excess of 15 meters." He added, "In the case of the South Group, they're up to 30 meters deep. This is as far as the instruments can penetrate, so they could go even deeper than 30 meters. That's deep, guys. That is super intriguing. One of the most significant findings is a large void beneath the main altar of the Church of San Pablo Apostol in Mitla. Vigato remarked, "It's no coincidence that there was a void beneath the church altar. The church was constructed in the 16th century by the Spanish on the remains of the ancient Zapotec civilization's most sacred temple, symbolizing the triumph of the new faith. A significant portion of the ruins were incorporated into the foundations of the church, which was built with stone stripped from the ancient buildings. The Zapotecs and other Mesoamerican peoples called Mitla the place of the dead. The Zapotecs believed the caves and subterranean labyrinth under Mitla to be an entrance to the underworld, or Lioba. Vigato explained, for this reason, Mitla was the center of the cult of Pitoa Benzelawa. Yeah, the Zapotec god of death in the underworld, and was for yeah, I think I had hairball there, and was for centuries the cemetery of the Zapotec kings and high priests. This belief led to the town's association with death in the underworld, and according to historical accounts, such as those by the 17th century, the friar Francisco de Burgoa, the site contained a labyrinth of rooms and tunnels considered the entrance to the underworld. I'll let you read the rest of the article at your leisure, and maybe you can pronounce some of these words better than I can. But there you go. I think this is super fascinating. The more we're learning about Mexico and South America and their interaction with beings like the Nazca mummies and their high level of technology and culture back in the day, something highly interesting was going on back there. And some of these beings seem to have lived underground. Indeed, when I was working with remote viewer Anita Ikonen, and she remote viewed the Nazca mummies and was able to make contact with them through time back, thousands of years ago, they had been living underground for an extended period of time. and humans came along and built some dwelling on top of them. Was this the citadel or the lab? What was that? Was this some sort of pyramid thing? What was going on there? I would love to know. And I would love to know also if these underground chambers and tunnels that may have been the entrance to the afterlife, or at least that's what the local people believed, if that had some concrete reality, if there were indeed beings down there that could be said in some parts maybe to be metaphysical beings, who knows, that were interacting with the peoples of the day, or maybe leading people to believe they were spiritual or something like that, or people interpreted them in that way. Again, I would love the answers to those questions. But was that religion and that faith system built around these caverns based on something real and genuine? Were they encountering beings underground? And if so, who were those beings and what was that interaction like? Man, it's just so fascinating. I want to know. If you guys have a clue, let me know, and everybody else know in the comments below. Meanwhile, you've seen Jurassic Park. I guess I should say last but not least. Well, remember that scene with the T-Rex where he's tearing down the gate or the fence? Well, we've got a much more peaceful being here, hopefully, doing pretty much the same thing. So hopefully this elephant isn't on a rampage. But let me know what you think about this amazing elephant and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, smash the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook, Twitter, and Discord links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.